what's up everybody? Welcome to this fabulous video where I'm going to be showing trash players. Maybe you're not trash, I don't know. Maybe you just don't know how to build cars. But anyways, the point is you're here to learn how to build drift cars. Alright, so that is what I'm going to be teaching you today. And just disclaimer before I start building. There's gonna be, like, you can hear my keyboard clicking and all that. Just kind of, okay. This is awkward. Anyways, so this is my 180SX. It's a pretty good drift car. Could be better, honestly. But I join a lot of servers. People tell me, how do you drift this well? And I always tell them there's three main philosophies when it comes to drifting. One is your suspension. You need suspension to drift well. You don't absolutely need it, but it really helps. And not just, you can't just go into the mechanics page and grab a suspension. I will show you how to create suspension, good suspension. But anyways, and then you also talk about wheels, which I'll talk about later. And also wheelbase. Wheelbase doesn't matter as much. It's more about weight. Weight is a big one. And yeah, so might as well just get into build. Use the go-kart seat. If you're making like a replica, use a go-kart seat. But you don't have to if you don't want to. If you're not making a replica, you can use other seats. But if you're making a replica, go with the go-kart seat. And then, once you have the go-kart seat, you can just like add, go into propulsion, you can add two Dragon engines at the back and at the front. There you go. And then, okay, so this is the weight part. Go into balance, and then you can get heavyweight blocks. Put them all across the bottom. This will vary depending on how heavy your car is, but you can like fine tune it. And I always try and keep my cars like between 400 and 600 weight, and you always want an extra weight at the back. Honestly, I like to have a little bit more weight at the back, just so it's a little bit easier. And yeah, so now we're gonna move on to suspension. This is a really easy suspension setup. It's not super complex. It'll get the job done for sure though. So you just want to place down a hinge, rotate it like that, and then put it one little nub away from the other one. Hold control, click on the other one, and then when you're in this screen, get rid of the controls on there, and then set the strength to 0 in them. You may think I'm dumb for this, but trust me. And then you want to grab a straight suspension, put it right in the middle, and then grab some tubes, some tube elbows, slap them on like this, duplicate them to the other side, and then like that, and then get a tube cross. It has to connect to both of these tube elbows and also to this suspension piece. And then you can have your hinges right here. Oh yeah, and also by the way, with engines, if your build is heavier, have more engines. Speed helps so much with drifting. You might think I'm stupid for this saying again, because like in other drifting games like Car X, having lower speeds is better, but in Trailmakers it's the exact opposite. More speed is more good. Alright? You heard it from me, professional Trailmakers drifter. Anyways, so for steering, you just want to slap down a steering hinge at the end of this tube cross. And then I'd recommend setting the angle anywhere between 50 and 60 depending on your build. I usually stick with 50 because 60 can make you oversteer. And then you just want to copy that entire thing to the other side, like that. And then hold control, click all of this stuff to select it. And then, actually don't copy those hinges, and just move this all the way to the back, except for don't place them on these weight blocks. And then you can just go into tubes and place a 1x1 tube going off of these back suspension pieces. And then, now this is part for wheels. Wheels are pretty complicated when it comes to this. Slim wheels, slim wheels with a motorcycle wheel on it work good, but it can make your car bounce because of the weird physics of the slim wheel, and also it can make your suspension act up, which I don't like. So typically, especially because I make smaller cars like my 180SX that I was displaying in the beginning of the video, I usually just use one motorcycle wheel. You can have two motorcycle wheels stacked on top of each other like this for a car that's not drifting well, like doesn't, like has not enough traction, keeps oversteering or whatever, and then you can just have two motorcycle wheels like that, on two motorcycle wheels on each side like that, and there you go. It's a pretty simple build. Obviously it can drift 360, and this actually oversteers a little bit, so if you want to, you can slap down the you can turn down steering help on those front hinges that are used for steering, and you can also lower your angle if you want to. There we go. Now it doesn't oversteer. Now it just drifts perfectly. And drifting can be done on the keyboard. You don't need a controller. You can't. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure you can actually drift on wheel in Trailmakers, but there's no force feedback. Just a small disclaimer if you're gonna try and use wheel. But I mean. And one quick thing, if you're having problems like drifting and you're just staying centered, it might be because you don't have weight at the back. Like, weight at the back is such a big thing for drift cars. It helps so much. So you have to always make sure your back is more heavy than the front, which is pretty easy to do. You can just add weight blocks. And also, I didn't talk about these suspension springs. You can just keep those at 50/50 or 0.50/0.50. It's really not that big of a deal, unless your car is like super heavy. Anywhere like above 1,000 kilograms, you're gonna need to adjust your suspension a little bit better. But if you're making small replica cars, it shouldn't matter. And yeah, this is a pretty good drift chassis for any car. But once you do add more weight and obviously finish the build, it's gonna need more engines. Like, I think my 180SX has like 10 or 12. But anyways, yeah, it's pretty good build. Oh yeah, and also if you're flipping, you might also want to disable air control on your seat. But yeah, thanks for watching. Also, press subscribe and smash like button. Don't lightly tap it, smash it, okay? Smash like button. I want you to break your screen when you press that button, alright? See ya.